Yeah. Okay. So we move on to the main committee meeting. So good evening, everybody, and welcome to this meeting of the Woodley Town Council, being held today on the 11th of February. Woodley Town Council meetings are now recorded. The recording is streamed live and stored on the Town Council's YouTube channel. By virtue of attending this meeting, you consent to having your image and audio recorded for this purpose. If you do not wish your image and audio to be recorded, then please do not stay to the meeting. For those in attendance, we're not expecting a fire drill, so if you hear the fire alarm, please head out to the nearest fire exit and congregate at the fire assembly point by the Oakwood Centre at the front of Woodley Park. We move to the town forum, and prior to meetings of full council, we hold this town forum, which is an opportunity for members of the public to pose any questions they may have to the council. And this is limited to a maximum of 30 minutes. And at this point, I normally ask if the public have any questions they wish to ask. And we have received a written question from Mr. Millard. Thank you very much. I will read the question, and then hopefully we can address this in some way. So CCTV in Headley Road car park, right next to Woodley Library. So we've had some discussions in the past about this, and the question is, so why is Councillor Alex Freeney and Councillor Alison Swaddle asking for CCTV to be installed? And I guess this is on the back of a conversation that we had around some monies from Wokingham Borough to fund that. Alison, can you shed any light on this? Because clearly this is a borough matter and we would need to refer it back to borough, but if you can help at all.
So this is a borough matter. Mr. Millard is referring to the recent borough council meeting when Alex and I both asked the question to Stephen Conway to urge him to ensure that the money that had been voted through at a council meeting almost over a year before could be put towards so that we can have more CCTV cameras and simply the length of the precinct, because you know the town centre is not just the length of the precinct. And during the meeting that we discussed, and Alex Freeney is a London Borough councillor, we mentioned library parade that isn't covered, you know, the alleyways off, and Alex raised antisocial behaviour in the library, which is a particular concern. Yes, there is some CCTV. It doesn't cover all of the frontage of the library. I've seen pictures of what we can see, and I was at a Teams meeting earlier this evening with Stephen Conway and Borough Councillor officers with Brian Freeney and Alex Freeney as well. And I'm really pleased with the outcome of the meeting. Stephen Conway, the leader of the Borough Council, confirmed that he's very happy for 15k to be used for additional. So, together with the grant we received from the Pearson Crime Commissioner, the ongoing maintenance costs, because we do have to remember that it's not just installing those cameras, they may need repairs and going forward. There are some more questions that have been resolved, so I don't want to say too much, but Stephen did confirm that the money is there, it is available to use, and very happy to go forward. So I think we've had a great result. Very pleased to work with Alex Freeney on that. And we will come back with more news. And I think Brian's really pleased, and he's been talking to Kevin this week, hoping to have the contract signed this week.
I can add a little bit to that, if I may. That's ready for installation. We've had a startup meeting for the install for the project, which has been very helpful. And what we have asked is about the potential for library parade for the scheme to be extended further down the road, if that's something that.
Certainly the other alleyways off the precinct, we all know are very dark, concealed spots. So it would be a very good idea to have those covered as well.
Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Millard, we'll just.
Are you pleased to hear all of that information?
Well, no, there's already cameras. That's what I'm saying. There's already cameras there. You're saying that you've got to extend it through the library. There's a camera right outside. Yes. Yeah. When you spoke last month at full council meeting, you stated that there wasn't no camera. You wanted it. Anyway, I'm going to put
No, it's fine, Mr. Miller, that's fine. I think what they're saying, and I'll come to Jude in a second, I think what we're saying is there is a camera, it just doesn't give full coverage. So this new scheme will give a much broader coverage. Yeah, it does work.
Actual, the pictures that come from it and what it covers, and we've all agreed, the officers, the council, that that we need to work next on identifying exactly where to put additional cameras.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The residents are really very pleased.
Thank you. Councillor Taylor.
I'm actually going to just raise this later on the agenda, but it seems sensible to deal with it now. I just wondered whether we could put something in our minutes this time to clarify the discussion we had at last full council, because at last full council we reported that we were waiting for money from the borough council, that they were tardy in providing that. I watched the full council at the borough, the recording of that, and Stephen Conway there, the reason we had to give it to you is because we understood you didn't need it, and we were told that you didn't need it, and he referenced our minutes of November, so I went back to November, and indeed, in our minutes, we said that the 15 grand we'd had from Thames Valley Police would cover what we needed. So I think the two sort of concerns I've got, one is, if you read our minutes now, it looks as though we were sort of giving the borough earache for some money that we didn't actually need, which isn't a good look really, is it, for Woodley? But the other thing was that it wasn't clear to me how Stephen Conway knew that. So have we formally told the borough that we didn't want it? Do they read our minutes? In that case, we will make them more interesting. And did they pick it up from there? And it's a sort of strange process, isn't it, if you haven't been formally told? I just was curious as how that happened.
Yeah, I can give some information there. Wokingham Borough Council officer who was trying to negotiate that and make it work had been in contact with me, and I referred her specifically to those minutes so that she was clear, because there'd been a lot of conversations happening outside of council committees, so that's where that came from.
I would say that I think our minutes could have been fuller, because they didn't really expand enough on what we did discuss during the meeting. But yes, the quote was 13,000 and it was 15, but we did discuss, I think, more in the meeting that on reflection when reviewing the minutes, we could have added a little bit more detail of what we talked about. I felt Stephen misrepresented what the minutes said, because it wasn't what he actually said in the minutes.
Thank you. So a few lessons learned, ultimately a good outcome, and hopefully we're not quite average. Well, fingers crossed. You're on it, so. Lovely, thank you. Are there any more questions from the public? Anything else? No, super. Okay, we will commence with the agenda then. So prior to the commencement of the meeting today, we're very fortunate to be joined by members of the Wokingham Borough Council's Youth Council, who will be providing a presentation on their role and their work. They're behind you. So we have Will Hunt, who's Will? And Presley.
Hi, sorry, my name here is put down as Sarah Desson for some reason. Hi, I'm Presley Shearer.
Right. Perfect. Okay, thank you.
And I've gotten word that Will's having technical difficulties, so I don't know if he's on yet or he's trying to get on. We'll see about.
Okay. Are you happy to commence without him?
Yeah, I should be able to. That should be fine. Yeah. Yeah. So
we'll try and get him on if he's trying to get on. But if you'd be happy to start, that would be lovely. We're all ears. You've got about 10 minutes.
That's fine. I'll just start my presentation real quickly. Hold on.
Screen.
I was gonna say, yeah, like I'm having trouble sharing my screen. Is it all right if I can find on? Can I?
Sorry, take your time. There's no hurry at all. Have another go. Are you on Teams?
I'm on Zoom. And I'm being told that I cannot share because only the host can share in this meeting. Sorry.
Okay, bear with me 1 moment.
Kevin can sort that.
Yeah, don't worry. Kevin's about to do that for you.
Thank you.
And can you see the screen behind me?
Vaguely, yeah. I can see it enough, but I've got my presentation where I need it, so I can, see well enough.
Okay, you should be able to share now.
All right, let me see what I can do. Yes, I can. Okay, this should be sharing my screen. Okay, let me go out here. Can you all see the presentation fine?
Yes.
Yeah, that's all good?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, and in any case, I'll get started then. So formally, I'm Presley Shearer. I'm from Wokingham, and me and many others are a part of the Wokingham Youth Council. In this presentation, we hope to kind of give an explanation as to what we are, what we do, and what we have done in the past, as well as what we want to do in the future. So to get started, what we do is basically our goal is to aim to make the voices of young people heard and improve the community of Wokingham as a whole. So two elected members from many different schools in the area, such as Bournemouth and St Crispin's and Allington, meet once a month in the Wokingham Council chambers in Shoot End, and we cover various items, including things such as provision of feedback to organisations on strategies involving young people. We welcome guest speakers into our meetings. And we also debate current affairs and plan youth politics events for the borough. If you see to the right, that you see some examples of some things we've done in the past. In fact, some of our members were actually interviewed by the ITV Meridian News back in 2022 regarding climate change. Beneath that, you may see that the MP Theresa May actually attended one of our calls in the inaugural meeting back in 2021 to give a speech. Beneath that is a photo of some of our councillors in Wokingham at the youth politics event in 2023. And beneath that is MP Tan Desi on the screen doing a talk about diversity back in a meeting in 2021. So as you see, we've been around for quite a while, and we've had many, luckily, we've had many guest speakers appear in our meetings. Next up is some previous events that we've done in the past. We've done many things, as you may be able to see. For one, we've held themed meetings monthly where we've had speakers and discussed things like diversity, climate change, gender equality. We've held 2 youth politics events in our run. We've held a mock House of Commons event. We held a litter picking event in Cantley Park, which many of our members attended. Some of our members attended a mock COP event at Wellington College a little while back, where each kind of group attending represented a metaphorical country, and they held kind of hypothetical negotiations with the other groups in the room. We've also heard back on a whole multitude of projects and strategies and action plans, such as the Youth Future Focus Survey and Focus Group for Wokinham's Youth Offer. We've talked about the drugs, alcohol, tobacco and vaping strategy. We've given feedback on the waste and recycling survey, provided feedback on the customer excellence strategy, Wokingham's leisure strategy, UNICEF's child-friendly cities and communities project consultation, children's services participation strategy, young person's housing strategy. We helped provide information for a domestic violence bid a little while ago. We've gave feedback on the SEN strategy. Furthermore, a few of our members attended the first 2 community vision groups, and some of our members were also present at a young person's interview panel for the current Director of Children's Services here in Wokingham, as well as for the Assistant Director of Education and SEN with Children's Services as well, the latter of which I attended. Yeah. The Youth Charter. Now, a little while back, the Youth Charter was created by our last Youth MP that we had in our Wokingham Youth Council, and with support from the Youth Council and the borough itself, it helped detail proposals collated from ideas gathered through the members of our group, where we all went to our own respective schools, and we put together focus groups to kind of gauge what young people wanted in the area. And following this, we kind of put together 8 proposals based on what people were interested in and what they wanted to see changed. And with this proposal, we presented it at a council meeting to all 54 Wokingham Borough councillors. And soon after, a follow-up meeting was then held to talk about putting some of the priorities we made into action. If you see to the right here, I'll briefly cover some of the kind of proposals we suggested. It's an 8-point plan, and starting from top to bottom, we have, firstly, we proposed more consistent youth engagement with local decision makers and young people through Wokingham's Youth Council to consult young people on how they will be affected by strategies implemented in the borough. Secondly, we propose the creation and or publication of a youth portal online for careers and enrichment platform for all young people in Wokingham with information on local volunteering and enrichment opportunities, youth clubs and career events, and we suggest to make that more easily accessible to the general public. Thirdly, we propose that Wokingham's Youth Council continues to facilitate regular youth voice events such as mock COPs and panel discussions, so that all the young people in the local area can engage with local politics. Fourth, we propose a return of youth clubs across the borough as a necessary step towards fostering a sense of security and community within Wokingham's youth. Number 5, we propose that disabled parking spaces in Wokingham Borough should have longer time intervals, and that more importantly, improved parking facilities are put in town centres and shopping areas. Number 6, we propose that the introduction of an annual culture day in Wokingham, including exhibitions, parades, stalls, and talks from local EDI organisations, businesses, and just any resident who'd want to be participate. Number 7, we propose that a greater number of affordable public transport bus routes are introduced across Wokingham, with more affordable bus fares for young people to make it more accessible to be independent for each of them. And finally, number 8, we propose that in heavily pedestrianised areas, the council replaces existing street bins with section street bins, and that more bins are placed around the borough to reduce littering. And finally, I just want to cover our future goals. We are in the process of choosing a set of long-term campaign strategies to work on for the year. Possible initiatives include a focus on knife crime prevention, improving and creating social spaces for young people, and a media project surrounding SEN provisions filmed at Addington School in Woodley. We currently operate with no budget and hope that establishing these clear goals for the future will help secure funding while providing excellent causes for it to go towards. Our next event is the Youth Politics Night in March, where we'll be inviting students from across the borough to pitch questions to a panel of MPs and councillors locally from each respective party. Thank you. I'm Presley. I've been from the Wokingham Youth Council, and that is what we are.
Lovely. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Hunt. Thank you.
I'm going to open it up to the floor if anybody has any questions. Keith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Yeah, I'll answer as great as I can, yes.
Okay, very simple. You've talked about what you're doing with Wokingham Borough Council, etc. I was involved trying to get the Youth Council more involved with Woodley Town Council a couple of years ago, which unfortunately didn't sort of follow through. What can we do, and how can you do or work with us to help you achieve those aims?
I think, listen, I'll try to answer these questions as best as I can, but I do think it's all about like starting more of a dialogue, because I do remember us first meeting, and I do think I think a lot of the campaign goals we have, we want to spread throughout the borough, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much power the town council has, but I think if there are more local possibilities in terms of things like, I don't know, street bins, simple things like that. I don't, unfortunately, I can't give too much of an answer right in terms of that, but I just think, sorry, yeah, but I think, yeah, it's small things, I think.
Thank you for that. What I would propose is what I proposed in the council chamber when I used to be a borough councillor, that somehow we meet, or the officers here and the mayor meet with the relevant people within the youth council to explore those, because we can do a lot. We are a big town. We're a very impressive town, forward-looking town. We've got a youth strategy that's being developed, taking a couple of years. We're the only town that's got a youth strategy. So can we move forward and actually have a meeting with the relevant officers from the youth council and say, Juliet and the officers, to see how we can progress? Because frankly, I think you're missing a trick inwardly.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah, I do want to, like, I would honestly love, like, we weren't able to attend physically today, but I would love more interaction. Yeah, like, I think, I don't know if anyone would perhaps want to attend one of our meetings or something like that. But I do think, no, I absolutely agree. Yeah, I think we should be engaged more. And I think, yeah, I do think Woodley can do a lot. Yes.
Super, thank you, and we absolutely will. I think if I ask Kevin or Matt, one of you, to be in touch with you, and then we can do that. You can either come here, or I can come to you, or either way, it doesn't matter. But I think a bit more of a dialogue would be great. And you're doing some really impressive work as a group, and some of that stuff will have wider ripples when you're on the top day. That will raise awareness amongst not only your members, but the wider youth community as well. So all good stuff. And we'd love to be involved in that. So I will take an action to be in contact, if that's okay. And thank you for presenting this evening.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been great. Yeah, it's great, definitely. I've been looking forward to this. So because as I've known about the work of the Woodley Town Council, for quite a long time, but we've never, I've never been able to join one of your meetings.
Well, you're more than welcome. There's a nice cafe. Pop in any time.
Oh. Oh.
We'll be in touch, but thank you for presenting. And if you could thank Will for us, I know he appreciate he was having technical difficulties. Any questions before we let him go? Oh yeah, go on, Michael.
Yeah, just a copy of the presentation, please.
A copy of the presentation. Yeah, sure. I have it. I have it right here. I'll need to get hold of one of your emails, but
that's fine. We'll get Matt or Kevin to contact you, and we'll distribute it if you just send it to the.
Brilliant. Yeah. I'll do that after the meeting. Yes, because I have possession of it. So yeah, brilliant. I'll do that. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Lovely. Thank you.
Having me.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Okay, thank you. So the first items on the agenda this evening after that are apologies. They presumably are the same as for the
are the same, just for confirmation, because of the recording. We've had apologies from Councillors Charles Bay, Arawala, and Councillor Rowland. Councillor Rowland was attend virtually. Is she still attending virtually?
Yes.
Yep, brilliant. That's great. So yes, Councillor Rowland's attending virtually.
Super.
Everyone can see who's on the actual Zoom.
You're right,
Yeah, she's still there, just her camera's off at the moment. So.
Yeah. Thank you. And thank you for such good attendance this evening, and for those individuals actually stating apologies. We really appreciate it. And just a gentle reminder that, particularly for the subcommittees, if you can't come, just let somebody know. It just, it makes everything a whole lot easier. Thank you. So the second item on the agenda is declaration of interest. Do we have any declarations of interest from councillors regarding any of tonight's items? No, that's super. Item 3 is to receive the minutes of the meeting held on the 3rd of December 24. The minutes are included in this agenda and can be seen on page 5. They are quite hefty minutes. Are there any questions or comments regarding these? I do have something to point out. The appendices on the copy that you have are slightly out of order, but the ones I will sign this evening have been corrected and are in the right order. But other than that, does anybody have any comments? Thank you. So assuming everybody's happy, we can move on to a vote to accepting these minutes as true and correct. So everybody in favour, please raise their hands.
19.4.
Okay, all of those against, please raise their hands.
None against.
And anybody wishing to abstain, please raise their hands.
That's 2 abstentions.
Thank you. So the minutes have been duly approved. As a true and correct record, I will sign these after the meeting. Thank you. 4, actions and follow-ups. The next item are the actions and follow-ups which are provided in Appendix 4 on page 47 of the agenda. Does anybody have any questions or comments about these? Yes, June.
Just wanted to ask about we talked about training for councillors, about the whole budget process, and I wonder whether we could put a target date on that. I'm kind of guessing now that we're also in the space of talking about having wider consultation with people in Woodley, they'll kind of need to know the same things as well before they can contribute to that. So hopefully it won't be less onerous, but there'll be more people who will be absorbing it. But I wonder if we could put a date on it kind of to fit in with our next budget round, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And just some context with that, as we'll be doing, looking at the budget much earlier, going through this year, so we'll be moving the whole process forward a cycle in meetings. And prior to that, we are going to need some informal meetings as well, so that councillors have an opportunity to feed into the process in a way that we've not done before. So you're right, the intention is to get some information around that out to councillors anyway, so that you can see what the process is going to be through the year. And you're absolutely right, that ties in with consultation.
Jumping up again, just to say that your report and the whole budget pack, which is explaining how all the different budgets work, I thought that's just the sort of level that we need. It was really, really good. Thank you.
Thank you. It's nice to get feedback. Lovely, thank you, noted. Item 5 on the agenda is for members simply to note that the authorised bank signatories have checked the Southern Council Bank reconciliations up to the 31st of December 24, so please note. Item 6 is to receive the minutes of standing committee meetings which have taken place in this full council meeting. So, in the absence of Councillor Soane, can I ask Councillor Bragg David to give a report and present the minutes of the planning community meeting took place on the 10th of December, set out on page 49 of the agenda.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to present to you the board with the minutes of the planning committee held on the 10th of December, which cover pages 49 through to 62 of the agenda. Actually, I think there's more. Yeah, it's 54 because there's another one coming. So, are there any questions at all?
Thank you, David. So, assuming everybody's happy, those minutes are noted. Again, can I ask you, as chairman of the committee, as vice chair, to present the minutes of the planning committee meeting, which took place on the 7th of January 25, and those are on page 55 of the agenda.
Thank you. Yeah. Real technicalities here, but we've got 2 minutes. Yeah, I'd like to present to you the minutes of the planning meeting held on the 7th of January 2025, covering pages 55 through to 62.
Thank you. And are there any questions regarding these minutes? Thank you. So everybody's happy. Those minutes are noted. Thank you very much. Can I now move on to Councillor Smith as chairman of the Leisure Services Committee to present the minutes of the Leisure Services Committee, which took place on the 14th of January, as set out on page 63 of the agenda.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to present the Leisure Services Committee meetings from the 14th of January 2025, from pages 63 to 66 in briefing. Thank you very much.
Do any councillors have any questions regarding these minutes?
One question, but please, usual complaint, can we not have draft? Because you can't see on page 1 of the Leisure Services repeated on the strategy.
It's frustrating because if you see if you see the electronic version, the draft template is on every single page of the ones that are draft, and yet sometimes it comes in the front.
As I had before, can you somehow
I can remove draft, it's just we normally like it there to prove that it's the draft copy, but I can remove it from the copies that are there. Yep.
Thank you. Lovely, those minutes are noted then, there's no other comments. Thank you very much. Right, we move on to the Strategy and Resources Committee. I ask Councillor Baker as Chairman of the committee to present the minutes, which took place on the 21st of January 2025, set out on page 65 of the agenda. And these minutes include several recommendations made by the committee for consideration this evening. So there are 7 that need voting on. Some of those we may be able to group, but some we absolutely cannot group. So do you want to present those, Councillor Baker, and you'll decide what you do?
I will. Presenting the minutes on a large number of pages, plus the 2 extra charges document as well. I think I would suggest that we possibly might be able to take treasury management strategy, risk register, and disaster recovery plan, i.e. 1 to 4, on block.
Yeah, and 3 is to note that 1, 2, and 4 absolutely vote.
Have we got a query on any of these?
Yeah.
As we go, you want to, right?
Okay, so if we take them in sequence, so on page 69 is the treasury management strategy, the new treasury management strategy. There's really 2, from memory, there's only 2 key things that were done, modified there. The most important one was to build in, for the first time, a statement that says that the general reserves will not be allowed to go below 500k. It's something that we've had for a long time, 20 odd years, where it's been that way. This is the first time we've formalised it, which I think is a good idea. The other thing that was in was to do with tidying up an area around long-term loans. So, Mayor, I'll take any questions on that.
Yeah, does yours apply to that one, Julia? Which one?
We're just doing 1 and 2, yeah?
The comments, and then potentially do the votes.
I'm on 3.
Okay. So should we take 1 and 2 and vote on those?
Yeah.
Yeah. So number 1 and number 2, everybody in favour?
That's 24.
Okay. Is that everybody?
Everybody.
Okay, so everybody against?
None against.
And anybody abstaining?
1 abstention.
Yeah. Thank you.
Excuse me, Chair. There's people are absent, so how can we have 25 votes?
I didn't go in, I said 20.
20.
Oh, sorry,
I said 20 in favour.
Oh.
So we move on to number 3 now, which is where June has a question. Do you want to outline it first, Councillor Baker, and then?
Well, actually, it's probably best outlining from Kevin.
Yes, so just to note that the pages that are submitted to this committee are the summary pages, so don't include the full register which goes out.
We're talking about
Yes,
disaster recovery plan, aren't we?
No, on the risk
Oh,
register.
sorry. Okay, sorry, because that's a note.
So the full risk register is seen by Strategy and Resources and considered, and will have gone out to all councillors in that agenda. But yes, there's any questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a bit detailed, actually, and I'm not expecting to have the information available tonight, but it is actually about that detailed risk register, which I'll show you how to look at. So I've got 2 queries. One is the operational risk register, and they're both for play areas. One is PAO4, and there's a risk on there which is relating to inadequate budget provision. Now, I'm going to return to Weevil Park, and I've noted on our website we have an entry about Weevil Park which was posted in August 2022, saying that we were planning to put some hard standing in front of the play wall, and that hasn't happened, which kind of suggests that we didn't put enough money in 22 to do that. So I just wanted to know whether that was taken into account when we were setting the scores for that particular list. And similarly, a PAO 6, which is about litter and dog mess. And one in the control section for that particular risk, it says play areas have self-closing gates to keep out dogs. Well, this isn't true for Weevil Park. We haven't even got gates on the little road, sort of barriers, never mind self-closing ones. So again, I wanted to know, was that taken into account when the scores were set? And also, can we put something in there that says, except for Weevil Park?
To that?
Yes, that is something that, since it was pointed out, I didn't realise that in relation to Weevil Park, picked up with the amenities manager with a view to carrying that out and reinstating gates. I think they were taken off some time ago, but you're right, they're not there.
It wasn't so much the substantive issue of what we're doing there, is our risk register right? That's where I'm bringing this up. So. But yes,
there are two things which just need that we get out of the Thank you. Any other questions on that one, or can we note that? Is everybody happy to note? Thank you. We move on to number 4, Keith, and this, Councillor Baker, this is the disaster recovery plan.
Yes, and I think, again, best to go to the author of the disaster recovery plan.
Yeah, there were a few changes in there. They were mostly updates in terms of contact details and changes in contractors. The plan itself was largely the same. There were some additions in there. There was a comment about previously including reference to computer or cyber attacks, which was included and enhanced in there.
Lovely, thank you. So any questions about that disaster recovery plan, or can we vote on that? Right, so everybody in favour of the amended disaster recovery plan?
That's everyone 21.
Lovely, thank you very much. We move on to number 5, which would be charges for the Oakwood Centre to be approved. Mr. Baker?
So it's in the same one.
It's in the appendix.
Again, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, it's basically a farm RPI. But we did have a discussion that you get some more, 7p, 6p, maybe you can round them up or whatever. Also, the comment was made that it takes a snapshot in September of what the RPI is. Now, if the RPI, for argument's sake, had been for previous 6 months 20%, and in September it drops to 1%, we're only going to actually increase our charges by 1%, when in reality it should be more than that because of the previous RPI. So I just posed the question, or we posed, the committee posed the question for officers to look at that potential issue. It's fine when you don't have massive swings, but over probably the last 10 years, we've had some huge swings, very high, down to virtually nothing. So that's, I think, very straightforward.
Lovely, thank you. Any questions or queries, or can we vote on that? Okay, so those in favour of adopting that?
That's everyone again, thank you.
Lovely, thank you very much. And we move on to the charges for the leisure services to be approved, number 6.
They're also in the same document. The approach from the leisure services perspective is slightly different, and whereas the Oakwood Centre is just straight RPI increase applied, here there's a little bit more thought put into it, in the sense of looking at what our competitors are doing to make sure that we are competitive in what we're charging. So in some cases you'll see no increases, in some cases you'll see around about the RPI, which I think is 2.7, in others it'll be higher than that. Ed does a I'd like to actually put on record, they've done a really good job in doing that analysis. An awful lot to look across the whole of the borough to see what Reading, for instance, charging on the their leisure services, etc. So,
Lovely, thank you. So we put that for a vote, please, if everybody's happy. Everybody that approves for the new charges for the leisure services, please put your hand up.
That's everyone.
Lovely, thank you very much. Now we move on to the budget for 25-26. We present to council for approval, and that is in the budget appendices that you have in front of you. There are a couple of little minor amendments, and you have an amendment sheet in front of you with a red square around it.
I'll just explain the purpose of that. So that's this sheet. Amended budget summary sheet. There was one small change on there, which you can see outlined in red. That was due to a rounding on the figure for the tax base that we provided originally. As that calculates through, that made a small difference to the total precept sum, nothing to the percentage shown there, but it was a few pounds, less than £100 difference on there. The figure on there is the correct.
Thank you. Any questions regarding number 7? No, then we will vote on that. So approval, please vote.
That's everyone. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you very much for that. And then number 8, the precept level for the 25-26 financial will be presented to council for approval, and again that is in the budget appendices. Councillor Baker,
only that this has been incredibly difficult. Recent actions from government has not made things easy for all our residents. The same with the legal statement. The key thing for those in SNI who were in the meeting will know about this, but one of the most important things to note is that there has been major changes in the structure of this budget report, and those changes are so significant you can't do a year-on-year comparison. And it is the core of it basically is to try and make each service or each facility self-contained in terms of all the costs associated with that. Take the leisure centre, all the costs associated with that, all the income that. So you've got like a complete entity, which will allow officers and councillors to do a little bit more analysis on whether the service or the facility is actually worthwhile, is it providing value for money, etc. And the key thing that has happened is the pension costs, national insurance costs, used to be, in essence, lumped into a central cost. Even though, for instance, all the staff of the leisure centre, the NI, should really be apportioned to, and the pensions, to the running of the leisure centre. That's something that I applaud Kevin and Matt for doing. It's something that probably should have been done a long, long time ago, but it's great, and it's a great way forward. So beyond that, I don't really need to say anything more on that.
thank you. Any questions regarding that? No? Okay, let's go to a vote then. All those in favour?
That is everyone for.
Thank you very much. So those minutes are noted. Thank you to everybody. Back to you again, Councillor Brack. Please may I ask you to present the planning and committee from the 4th of February, which are on the 25 agenda.
Good evening once again. I'd like to present the minutes of the community committee that was held on the 4th of February this year, pages 125 through to 132. And the doctors Questions, please.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. Lovely, thank you. Thank you. You've been very busy with that committee. Lots of meetings. Item 7A and 7B now relates to the council's current direct debit mandates. The council simply asked to note that the mandates, as included in the agenda, have been signed and are now in place. We move on to number 8, which is the leader's statement. The next item is to receive a statement from the leader of the council. Councillor Baker, are you happy to provide a statement to members?
Yes. I've touched on some of the things that I want to talk about when you talk about the budget, etc. Without a doubt, this year has probably been the most difficult year to do the financial review process. We all know that the current economic situation for our residents and the town council is very, very difficult. Residents are finding more and more financial pressures imposed on them. Energy prices are rapidly increasing, cost of living continue to rise, pensioners losing their winter fuel allowance, just a few examples of these pressures. The town council, as an employer, been hit hard with the increase in national insurance combined with the threshold of payment. The increased costs due to the NI increase will inevitably be passed on, not necessarily by us, but certainly by businesses. That's going to impact on both of us, residents and ourselves. So I did mention it. For us, it was quite obvious the process that changes had to be made in the financial reporting scheme. I've talked about the objectives, so I won't talk about that. So what we've now done and approved, and I thank you all for voting unanimously for it, so it's cross-party support, a 0% increase for our residents. I'm sure it's only a little drop in the ocean, but it's something, because I'm pretty certain they're going to get a 4.99% increase from the borough. Interestingly, to look back, because there has been a lot of chatter about we're still the most expensive town council in the borough. And that's true, absolutely true. But let's just look at the facts. When we took control in 2013, from then to now, we've actually reduced the town council tax by 7% over those 13 years. Reduced by 7%. Put that in perspective, if we had increased the 2013 tax by the rate of RPI inflation, it would be nearly 60% higher. So what that actually means is our residents are getting better and better value for money. Just again, to put it in context, Early Town Council during that same period has increased their council tax by 45%, and Working Town Council increased by 61%. What that's actually meant is the gap between us and both Early and Working, which is quite often the chatter on social media, has significantly reduced. It is now 18% and 34%. Now, looking forward, setting the tax for 2026 and 27 is going to be extremely difficult. So that's why we're going to be doing, I think it's a first across the 3 town councils, proper consultation with our residents. Not just a e-survey or whatever. It'll be a comprehensive design, including surveys, including public meetings, etc. And I'm hoping all the parties will support this and push it hard, because we need to get into a situation where our residents are driving the potential increase or decrease in the tax, rather than us sitting here. And some people might think in our ivory towers, thinking this is the best thing, rather than the resident. So, all in all, thank you to everyone. Thank you to the officers on what's been a very, very, very difficult year. Thank you.
Thank you. We move on to item 9 now, which is to simply note that the annual return of the Woodley Memorial Recreation Ground Charity was submitted on the 20th of September 24. And item 9B is to consider the report FC 125 provided on page 133 of the agenda. I don't think I have a page 133. Very much. Right, so Kelly, do you want to give us a quick overview of that?
Yes, so this is kind of the other end of the report that you looked at in the previous meeting. There's one recommendation, sorry, two recommendations, one to note. The other recommendation is basically to formalise the council's commitment to maintain the memorial ground on behalf of the Woodley Memorial Ground charity.
Lovely, thank you very much.
A tidying up exercise from.
Yeah. Any questions or comments? No. I think I'm really heartened to see the amount of tidying up that's going on and putting things right and just getting things in order. And I think we've heard earlier that that's really important. So thank you for doing that. Right, so we will move on to a vote on the recommendations in this report, if this is okay, where the council formally resolves that it agrees to maintain the memorial ground on behalf of the Woodley Memorial Ground charity. So all in favour?
That's everyone, thank you.
Lovely. Thank you very much. In that case, that is approved. Item 10 is to receive the written report set out in Appendix 10 on page 134, which I have in front of me. Do you have any additional reports apart from these? Now, should we go on to? Has anybody got any comments on anything? Yeah, Councillor Kennedy and then Councillor Jordan.
Just to clarify, Madam Mayor, on page 143, the date of the next parish liaison forum is actually next Tuesday, the 18th of February, and as the Town Council's representative, there is an open forum at that meeting, and I'm happy to take any matters to that forum that the council wish to raise at the liaison panel.
Thank you, Mike. That's really helpful. So can we ask if you have anything that you'd like Councillor Kennedy to take, if that comes through the officers, and then they can send that out to Mike. Thank you, Mike. Carol, Councillor Jill.
Thank you. It was regarding the report for the Highwood Management Conference on page 141. I was there because I represent the borough on that. There's a new chairman appointed, which I thought was probably worth recording somewhere. And also the extent of the management by the countryside team is not only Highwood now, it's Southlake as well. So there has been a joining of forces, whereas it used to be the Southlake team and the Highwood team. They're now all in one. And I've put forward a proposal that the remit of Highwood management should extend to Southlake as well. So there was quite a bit more going on rather than ongoing stuff, which is what we said.
Thank you. Noted. Thank you very much. That's a helpful amendment. Thank you. Anything else? Any other verbal reports? No? That's lovely. Thank you. We'll move on to number 11. Item 11 on the agenda is an update on the Mayor and Deputy's engagement since our last meeting, which can be found on page 145. So over Christmas we were quite busy, weren't we, David? Lots to do. We got very wet on many occasions, but we battled through, me on my crutches and David making sure I didn't stack it any further. So we've had a couple of really lovely engagements, and the Christmas Tree Festival was lovely, and the reception. And do you want to particularly talk about any one of those?
I think congratulations should be given to the Mayor of the the school's carol concert there was absolutely magnificent. I have never seen so many young children making up a choir in my life. They spread the whole width of the valley. And they had youth orchestra playing as well. And it was a very, very good evening. Jenny, that was linked to that. As a carol concert, it really was.
The difficult exercise, but done well. Lovely, thank you. Thank you very much for that. We've had some really nice things, and tomorrow, unfortunately, it's my father's funeral tomorrow, and you're covering for me at the cluster. Yeah. So we've got a lovely cluster event tomorrow. Yeah, that'll be really good. They're
first time for a long time. I'm hoping to be able to put my little finger in.
No, the teachers won't be letting you do that. Lovely, thank you very much. Item 12 is future agenda items. So have you got any items that they would like included on future agendas? If you think of anything outside this meeting, just give the officers a call and we can add it. And equally, publicity and website, if anybody's got anything that they wish to publicise. Yes, Councillor George?
The Woodford Repair Cafe celebrated its first birthday in January the 5th. And I'd just like to say thank you to the people that manage the website and the other publicity, because they're always supporting us, and numbers of people that we're getting each time increases, and I'm sure that's helping, so thank you very much.
Brilliant, and happy birthday. Thank you very much.
Can I just say one thing also about the Repair Cafe? When we had the Climate Action Week, I belong to the Climate Cafe, and we all have our regalia we have to wear. Now, the Deputy Mayor's one, everyone who's been Deputy Mayor will know this, the little spirally bit at the bottom used to swivel round. I went up to a young lady doing all the sewing at the Repair Cafe. You'll be pleased to know that is now rigid. It does not move. Absolutely magnificent. Please give that back to the
Very good.
Thank you very much. Lovely. And with that, I would like to draw this meeting to a close at 20:58. Thank you, everybody, and I will sign those papers. Thank you.
Thank you.